I spent the last few days contemplating and thinking about choices as I get towards the age and the time period where I want to launch and leave the work world, leave the hamster wheel of working every day. But never in my lifetime that I thought I would have to consider leaving my country of birth, the US. But the way things are turning out and the way things are going with our country, it's they're choices, but none of the choices that I think that would be best for me to have a good life are here. And so that's why I've taken into consideration other things like the cost of living. The cost of living in many countries is way less. Here, you work to pay a mortgage that the house is going to go to somebody else when you die, or you work to pay rent. I was watching something the other day where there was an older lady in her 70s. She was homeless, living in her car because her SSI and her money that she had made from retirement wasn't enough to pay rent in Florida, which used to be the place to be. So she was sleeping in her car, and that's just not right. The land of the free, the home of the brave, and the home of the rich and the extremely poor. Uh, some people also, you can work remotely in other countries. You have the opportunity to work remotely and then enjoy the income of being here in the States, but the money that you can make from living somewhere else. Another big thing is quality of life. Our food is, we got the farmers complaining about not being able to sell their crops because of tariffs and whatnot. But most of those crops, the reason they last so long is because they're sprayed with so many stuff, so much stuff that's put on them, preservatives and all kind of unhealthy stuff. I've made quite a few trips to Japan. Food quality is way different, way better. Many other countries, they shop daily because the food needs to be eaten within a few days before it will rot. There's a saying, you should eat stuff that rots because you don't want to eat a bunch of preservatives. So there's a quality of life, a slower pace of life. And then again, back to the quality, we talk about we have the greatest country here and they want to talk about healthcare. We have people that are, they will go on to the hospital to have a minor surgery or barely major surgery and bankrupt them. That just shouldn't ought to be. Shouldn't ought to be. There's so many other things. And the other thing, culture. Culture. What do we have for culture? We celebrate holidays of people who were murderers and essays and things like that. Yeah, culture wise, there are some things that are positive, but then again, we celebrate, or I don't. People celebrate generals who were traitors against their own country, who fought to keep people enslaved, who fought to keep people underfoot, who abused people horribly. So, yeah, things to think about. Culture enrichment. Not all cultures are good, and ours is not all bad, but the way things are going, the truth is, the bad is getting called good. And probably one of the last things that's making me take into consideration as I commence on these recognizance journeys is just a revitalization, a rejuvenation for life, talking to people, growing, uh, not dying where I was born, or at least close to it, or at least in a different country. There's a big old world out there. People just always say it's a big world, go experience it. That's one thing to consider out growing someplace else. So my top list so far has come Portugal, which I am quite familiar and I speak the language. I speak a slightly different dialect, which is from Brazil, but I can make adjustments and I can communicate quite well. Looking at Thailand, Vietnam, and then Panama. So those are my four choices. since my last video, my 4 choices that I've come down to. So I will be gearing up to take my trip to Portugal. Hang with me here. Leave your comments. Let's grow together. We'll see you on the next one.